Wow, well, you sound like my sister from another mister, because that's almost like how I used to do the same thing with my kids. In fact, we would go out on Thanksgiving and give out, I would go to Walmart and buy every pair of jeans we could find, and we would go out and find homeless people and give them, all kinds of anything we could find.
I feel like our kids, they don't listen to what we say, but they watch what we do.
That's right.
And I think if you can't just do it temporarily, it has to become consistent. I'm a lawyer, obviously, and so there was this trial lawyers organization, and they have this gala every year, and they select a nonprofit every year that they're going to give the proceeds of that gala to. They selected us eventually after rejecting us many times, and that gave me like $300,000. That's how I was able to start the scholarship program.
Hi, everybody. It's Erin Alonso here at DermFx, and I wanted to bring on a very special guest today, Kim Valentine from Operation Helping Hands, that has helped people all over Orange County, that I can't wait to dive into all the things that you've done to help the different people at DermFx. Lots of you guys know that we have an orphanage in Mexico that we are 100% involved with, doing every facet of their life. So I can't wait to hear from somebody that's built it from the ground up, from your life and all your experience, to turn it around and start helping people. So welcome.
Thank you. So glad to be here.
Yeah, you have a really cool story. It's really, so jump in and tell us what happened with you and your life. Like, how did you end up homeless?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, we don't have enough time for all of that, but the edited shortened version of that. Okay. I'm going to kind of work my way backwards. So I started Operation Helping Hands because I felt like I had landed in a place where I had a lot of privilege, if you will. And I felt like I was raising privileged kids, because I thought that we were living in Orange County. My youngest son had come home from the hospital, gone to the same home, lived in the same home his whole life. Everything about his life was very normal. He'd only ever known me to be a lawyer. And so he presumed that the life that we had was everybody's life.
Right.
But I knew from my own personal experiences that this is not everybody's life.
Right.
And so I started Operation Helping Hands because I wanted to expose him and the youth to the fact that there's another side of life right there in his backyard.
Okay.
So we started off by making some little brown bags in the garage. We filled them with hygiene items and blankets and things like that. And I asked my kids to go with me. We went and dropped them off we went and did it in San Diego. I'm a lawyer. And so I'd had a case down there, and I knew where a homeless encampment was. So I took them down there, and I was really shocked by how impacted he was and the other kids were by that experience. So he went to give out the first little bag. He walked up to a tent. It turned out that the person in the tent was a woman, which this was 16 years ago, and that was pretty unusual back then. She was sort of had an attitude. What are you doing here? What's in it for you? He was 12 at the time, and he was like, it's Christmas time. We want to do something nice for you. He was patient with her. He was kind to her. She warmed up to him. She started talking to him a little bit. And eventually she told him that she was going to take what was in the bag and she was going to give it to her kids, because that was the only thing she would be able to give them for Christmas. He walked back over to the car. I'll remember this moment forever, because it is literally how Operation Helping Hands sort of became a thing.
Okay.
Because as I opened the car door to let him get into the car, he just looked up at me and said, "So we're going to go find more people, right?" And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Wow.
And so eventually, throughout the course of that day, the rest of the kids were like, "We want to do it again." And so we started making more backpacks. Instead of making brown bags, we decided we needed to make backpacks. And really quickly, we started making hundreds of backpacks, which turned into thousands of backpacks.
Okay.
Which eventually, again, we then started working with the local high schools, and we turned into a full-on 501c3, and then we grew from there. So I can tell you more about that, but
wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's how we started. I mean, now I would say our biggest focus, quite frankly, is that we actually provide scholarships now. We felt like as he grew up, we kept doing that until he was actually gone off to college, and we were still doing it. We still do that even to this day. But we really wanted to have more of a direct impact on people where we could see sort of cause and effect.
Yeah.
And we could see that we were actually changing people's lives. So again, I sort of pulling from my own background, I didn't have the same opportunities as most people did. And so I had to go to community college because it was really the only option that I had for school. And so I know that there's a lot of people in community college that just are there because they don't have the same opportunities as other people, but doesn't mean they're not bright people who have really, great potentials in their lives. So we created a scholarship program where if someone is housing insecure or homeless, they're in 9 units or more and they have a GPA of 2.9 or above, we would provide them $1,000 a month per student to keep them housed and to get them through community college to better their likelihood of being able to go to a 4-year and sort of move on with their life. So it's we've been doing that now since 2021. We have given scholarships to 15 students. Our star student was homeless when we met her, and she graduated with a 4.0. She got a full ride to Berkeley.
Whoa.
She is graduating from Berkeley this semester with a degree in rhetoric, English, and literature. She's already been accepted into a master's program, and she's already researching where she's going to get her PhD.
Whoa.
So I could tell you many other stories like that.
So cool. Yeah.
But that's kind of what one of our primary focuses is now.
Okay. Wow. That's awesome. And to be able to see that is really great too.
Oh, it's the best thing that I do is being able to select the students and then follow them. And we just had a gala. And so it was like it was almost like therapeutic for me because we had 400 people who finally got to hear what I have known for years, which is doing this program is literally changing the trajectory of people's lives.
For sure.
And so we had multiple students who came, and each one of them, independent of each other, with zero prompting from us, came in and talked about how they were homeless, or I think the most housing secure student that we gave a scholarship to was a student who was living in a 2-bedroom apartment with 11 other people and was sleeping in the car because there was really no place for him to sleep in the house. But we gave him the scholarship. He became stably housed, graduated with a 4.0, and just got accepted and literally just started this semester at UCLA.
Whoa.
So
really bright kids that would
really
have been
bright
otherwise
people
just
our picker is good in terms of selecting these students. We've been able to really select some star people.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes,
amazing. Because what would the trajectory have been otherwise, right? I mean, you just think no one wants another person on the streets. I mean, that's the last thing we need for sure.
We try to pick students too that we think are, well, there's multiple factors. I mean, the only hard and fast rule is that they have to be in 9 units or more and have a GPA of 2.9 and above. But we try to pick students that we think how many other people are going to be positively impacted if we give this student this scholarship. So it
keeps feeding itself.
Right. And because do they have children? Are their children going to watch them accomplish this goal? Are they going to see their parent go to college and finish college and then think that that is the normal trajectory? The student I told you was living with 11 other people. There were a lot of kids that were in that makeup of those 11 people. So it's not a requirement. They don't have to have other kids but it's one of the factors that we consider because we want, we're trying to have them become role models as well.
Okay. Wow. Well, you sound like my sister from another mister, because that's almost like how I used to do the same thing with my kids. In fact, we would go out on Thanksgiving and I would go to Walmart and buy every pair of jeans we could find. And we would go out and find homeless people and give them, all kinds of anything we could find, that we would think that they would need on the streets of Long Beach. And then this orphanage in Mexico was kind of like just sort of landed on me. I'd gone there one time and doing a medical mission, and they were all saying goodbye and that they weren't going to do it anymore. And me, of course, was like, wait, who's going to take care of all the kids though? And they were like, oh, no one. And I was just like, well, what does that mean? And kept asking questions, which I mean, I guess back then if somebody would have said, will you take over this orphanage? I would have just been like, no way. But they were like, well, would you think you could go find a church or an organization to take over these kids and help them? I didn't even know. I was like, I'll try. And then the next thing I know, I got an email 2 weeks later from the guy that ran the orphanage with all the kids saying, we didn't have any food, can you come?
Wow.
And that was probably 25 years ago, and we've been going ever since. And watching those kids too, that literally either have two dead parents or one parent that still tries to come but they're on drugs or whatever. And you know, even harder in Mexico, and there's been even more homeless kids in Mexico now because everybody trying to cross the border, a lot of kids kind of got displaced. And so there's like I think we're about to get 3 sisters that are 2, 4, and like 6 that were cruising around homeless, like completely homeless together, just the 3 of them.
Wow.
So
that's heartbreaking.
There's so much need in the world that's just, and
so
I really did do it too, because, you know, I wanted my kids to see they were really bratty, and I was like, I am not raising this Orange County kid. I'm just not. There's no way.
I feel like our kids, you know, they don't listen to what we say, but they watch what we do.
That's right.
And I think if you can't just do it temporarily, it has to become consistent. It has to be who you actually are.
That's right.
And that I'll never know how my kids would be if that wasn't in their life, because we've been doing it for so long, especially for my youngest one, because like I said, he was 12 at the time, but now he's on my board. So,
I love it. Okay.
Yeah, so it's pretty awesome.
It's really awesome. Yeah. My oldest son and I he had told the orphans he was going to take them to Mexico, to the beach. And this is orphans that are at the Arizona border. And I thought, what are you telling these orphans? You're going to take them to the beach. Like, you can't tell orphans that and then not do it. So of course, you know, a month before he's supposed to do it, I'm still like, well, what's your plan? What's your plan? No plan. So of course I have to step in and I get an Airbnb and we bus all these kids over there. But it's probably the best trip I've ever had in my whole life. We taught about 25 kids how to swim in 5 days. And these kids went from this to like, wow. I mean, they'd never been in a bathtub before, and they were jumping off the high dive and swimming. And so I gave my son an A for the heart, an F for facilitation, but his heart was there. And I know he loves those kids. I know my kids really have kind of grown up with those kids too, because those kids never leave the orphanage. No one adopts a kid out of Mexico. You know, you never hear of that. So
that's true.
It's the same kids. It's been the same kids over and over and over again. So
well, you never know how one person on one day has the ability to like change the entire trajectory of your life.
You don't know that. That's true.
I think that I try to live my whole life like that because that's what happened to me. And I feel like, and it doesn't have to be somebody that's been in your life for a long extended period of time.
Right.
I think there's one person in my life that I met when I was 16 and I was living in a group home, and I was only in the group home with her. She was brand new, right out of college, 22-year-old, kind of very idealistic still, just graduated with her social work degree. And she came to this group home and was shocked by how all the counselors that were there essentially thought all of us in that group home were just a waste of time. Like, there was none of us that had any potential to do anything. And so she came in with like, okay, what are we going to do? And, you know, very energetic. And they were like, oh, honey, you'll figure it out. It'll be fine. Just sit down over there. You know, we're basically here just to babysit them, is kind of was their philosophy. And she was like, but it was very apparent to me that in just the couple of months that she was there with me, that she was completely different. And she very much had this attitude of like, you're different. You have so much potential. Like, she just believed in me. And that's all it was. She just believed in me.
That's right.
And I came home one day. I wasn't in that facility for that long, but I came home one day and they said, we had a court hearing about you today, and we're going to legally emancipate you in 12 days. You're going to be on your own. And I said, what's that? I had no idea what it even was.
Yeah.
And it essentially was that I'm going to be legally an adult at 16 years old. And in 12 days, I'm going to be out on my own. And I'm like, this is a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Right? Horrible.
Where are you going to live?
Where am I going to live? Haven't graduated from high school. I have a job, but I am not going to have a job for very long because I don't have a car. And I had like $800 in the bank. Like, insane.
Yeah. And they offered no help past the 12 days?
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Whoa.
And that's exactly what happened. So at 16, I was legally emancipated. I came right back here to Long Beach, of all things, because this is where I grew up. And when we talk about housing insecure, I will say I wasn't actually homeless during that period of time, but I was close to it. And I really, really, really struggled. I literally just survived for the next 2 years between 16 and 18. And then eventually I went in the Marine Corps. And that's how I sort of drug myself out of it. But the point I was going to make is that that one person who I had only had that interaction with for such a short amount of time literally continued to be the voice in my ear.
That's right.
That kept telling me, you're better than this. You have so much potential. You're going to be good. You're going to be okay. And I would call her periodically just to check in with her, just to get reaffirmation about that.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I can tell you that to this day, she's one of my best friends.
Oh.
It has turned full circle. She became a dean of girls up in Oregon. I used to go to her school and talk to her students and things like that.
Gosh.
But yeah, I mean,
I hope she never lost that spark.
she never did. She's helped so
awesome.
many people along the way. And I think it was good for her that I was one of the first students or first people that she came into contact with, because my trajectory was
She
really
hit a
good.
home run.
And then she knew, oh, this really does work. All you have to do is really believe in people.
That's right.
And
They
make
need
sure
life
they
spoken
know
into them.
that you believe in them.
That's right.
So that made me feel like I needed to pay that forward, and that I wanted to believe in people as well, because again, you just never know when you're going to be that one voice on that one day, and you may never see that person again.
That's
but
right.
they may remember what you said or what you did for them.
Yeah.
And it can change the course of their whole life.
It's such a great story. I mean, it really is. It's awesome. I mean, if there could just be more people that just wake up and see somebody to their left or right that maybe they could just blow a little hope into,
Right.
it would change so much.
Well, and I think the other super positive that I'm sure you can attest to as well is that when we do for other people, it's the best thing for us too.
Oh, it's for us. I tell everybody that wants to go down to the orphanage, I go, you think you're doing this for these kids.
Right.
You're going to leave so full. In fact, when we were there with those kids too, I kept, the whole time we're at the pool, I just kept crying, and the kids kept looking at me like, are you okay? And I just said, I'm bursting with joy.
Right.
It's something inside of us that's like that hole that can never get full, that's like bursting over all of a sudden. You know, it's just like this, wow, this is like a whole different emotion that's so empty on us most of the time.
We had the gala, I told the audience that we as a community have the capacity and the ability to come together, and sort of, we're so much stronger if we're like unified. And if we could just come together, we have the capacity to change people's lives. But in the course of doing that, it will change your life.
Absolutely.
And it will, I feel like, despite like how crazy and awful for a very long time my life was, I would relive my life over again, because I am the happiest person I know. And I live in this incredible place of gratitude because I know what it is like to have nothing.
That's right.
And I am so appreciative of what I have, but I literally also know how to find true joy. And true joy comes truthfully in what we do for other people.
It's true.
And that's,
yes,
honest to God, the most authentic joy that you will ever feel.
I agree.
Is when I sat in that room at the gala and I watched these students as they all spoke so genuinely from their heart about the change in the trajectory of their life just by virtue of the scholarships that were provided to them. And all I could think of is, why doesn't everybody not do this?
That's
like,
right.
literally, you are changing people's lives.
Yeah.
And what better thing can you possibly do? Like,
Yeah.
what better use of your time on this earth is there
That's right.
than to do that?
I agree 100%. I mean, there is no better use of time. And if you can, you should. It's my thing I say to my kids all the time. If you can, you should. And I hope more people step up and look at this and say, you know what, there is something to do. Is there a way to get a hold of you or your operation, or can people step up and help?
Oh,
and
sure.
join?
Of course. We have a website, which is OHHSC, which stands for Operation Helping Hands Southern California. Our Instagram handle is Operation Helping Hands SoCal. So you can look us up on there, and you can DM me, or there's a message capability off of the website as well.
Okay. I do really think people don't know where to go.
I think it's really crazy. Like when you give people the opportunity to do things, they want to. They just are like, they all have that idea of like, oh, I want to do something. But unless you like lead them with a path of what to do, they don't know how to do it. And I think that, you know, it's like in anything, right? There's the business owners and there's the employees, right? So there's the people that are going to do, and then there's the people who are going to show up.
Yeah.
But they aren't the people who are going to initiate that.
That's right. Know? So if they want to show up, what is you're going to have another backpack for the homeless, I guess, coming up?
Yeah. So we have, so every 6 months we have what we call our backpack assembly and distribution weekend. So on Saturday we have people come to my office in Mission Viejo, and we have a assembly line that we make 1,000 backpacks at a time. And we do that distribution, and everyone is encouraged to come and bring their kids. We really make it a very child friendly, because we want the kids to be exposed to that.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, for
if
sure.
You have spoiled rotten brats in Orange County. Here we go. Come on, bring them down.
It's so true. We make sure that they understand what they're doing. My granddaughter, who's currently 5, she's about to be 6, has been doing it her whole life.
It's great.
And so she knows and understands exactly what we do and why we do what we do. And I want her to do it every year for the rest of her life. And then on Sunday, we rent 15 passenger vans, and we have the sort of high school and above students that we take out on distribution day, and we bring them to various locations. One's here in Long Beach. This is where I was homeless when I was a teenager. So every time I come and do it, I'm always crying. But we come to Long Beach, we go to LA, and then the other location depends. Sometimes we go to San Diego. Sometimes we go other places in Orange County. It just depends. We have a connection with the Anaheim PD. We take backpacks to them. There's also a shelter that we take backpacks to in downtown Santa Ana. Very high homeless population there. Yeah. But we do the distribution, and we take the kids to be actively involved in that, because we want them to see the part of how this is really right there in their backyard.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So that our upcoming event is December 10th and 11th. So that's Saturday and Sunday. And like I said, it's in my office in Mission Viejo.
Okay. Probably my dad. I lived on the border in Texas, where Texas, New Mexico, and Mexico meet. And my dad would go over there and just pack up groceries and start driving around. And talk about seeing poor. It's even like medically poor. People would come up with open sores on their leg where you could see their bone, and it would just like reek. And then when, I went on that medical mission, just because I had done that before. I'm a nurse practitioner also. So I thought, oh, okay, I can do something to help in Mexico. I've been there 1,000 times before. And then that orphanage just sort of literally fell on me, because I went from place to place. I asked a million places. I went to all kinds of churches, but I'm in my 20s and thinking like, oh, like, hey, there's this orphanage in Mexico and they need help. Can your church pick it up? And 100% of places said no. And, so I was like, oh, okay. And then that church dissolved. So there's nobody there. And so then the guy emails me, because I was going to find the new person to come. And I was just kind of like, we have to go. So
what are the kids in an orphanage, like, what do they need?
Oh, they need everything. They need,
so like, because I have a really good base of people. As a matter of fact, I just was thinking that I have a voicemail that I need to return, because people are constantly contacting me, asking me if I need items, certain types of items.
Okay.
So like, if I wanted to reach out to like my base to get items, like what kind of items do you guys like need?
Well,
and like, how does that work? Like, how do you like help them? Like, what do you do for them predominantly?
We do all their medical care, all their food, all their education, all their clothes.
So you basically need money more than anything.
We need money more. And I really need to move them. I have about $200,000 saved right now for them, because the orphanage about 20 years ago completely burned down, and it ended up being in 2 separate buildings. And about 5 years ago, Mexico basically called them and said, hey, if you guys don't clean up all that rubble, we're going to take that property as eminent domain. So I was like, oh my gosh. So we got it cleared of the rubble. It has electricity and plumbing on it, but it's just flat land now. But the half of the kids went and lived in one of the couple's house, which was like a 900 square foot house and like,
oh my God,
I don't know, 20 people live in this house. It's just two on top. I'm just afraid. I don't want anybody else to get pregnant, or I mean, they're technically, you know, they're brother and sister, but not. I don't know. It's just a mix of boys and girls. And they're just, you know, because I've had people be like, oh my gosh, I have 4 sets of bunk beds I want to give you for the orphanage. And I'm like, I can't even take it because there's no room for it. You know, when I started going there initially, I mean, they had one plug that they would even like unplug the refrigerator to like plug in something else, like, and it was like coming in from the ceiling, like on a.
And these are all kids that just don't have parents.
They don't have any parent. Most of their parents have died. They're
wow.
Yeah, just homeless kids. I mean, literally, like, don't have anybody.
So in terms of, so for you, the limitation is just you need more funds to be able to like build a bigger
or buy a bigger. Yeah, a week ago, I started talking to a realtor down there saying, you know, I was looking for a house down there, and now I realize I don't need a house. I need like a warehouse where we could set up like rooms and a soup kitchen and a.
So have you ever, have you done like any big fundraisers for that?
No, never.
And you're officially like a 501c3?
Yeah, I am.
So I was really nervous about doing that because I had never done anything like that either. Like literally all the money that I made for the longest time was like, first of all, at the beginning, I just paid for everything. And then after it got to be kind of expensive.
That was me, yeah.
I started doing Facebook fundraisers. So I would like raise a few $1,000s at a time or whatever. So, okay. I mean, I was like very basic. Then I moved into, I did a golf tournament. And the golf tournament was great, but the golf tournament only makes you like maybe 40. I mean, for me, it only made us like $45,000, $50,000. And you can do them bigger and better. And potentially with your foundational base of people, maybe you could do more. But you're still not going to make more than maybe like $100,000, I would imagine, on a golf tournament. And that's probably a lot. But then it took me a long time to get confident enough to do this.
I don't feel confident. That's the whole thing.
I feel
weird about asking people for money too. So that's why we sell all the little tchotchkes and all of the DermFx's, because I'm like,
I'm the worst fundraiser in the whole world because I have so much pride that I don't ever want to ask people for money. Right. It's like, it just kills me to do that. Right. Yeah. I absolutely hate it. It's like having an outer body experience for me.
Right. Me too. I feel exactly the same. Right.
Okay.
I've never asked anyone for anything in my whole life. So I'm like,
okay, because this was like life changing. Okay. So here's what happened. We were the recipient of I'm a lawyer, obviously. And so there was this trial lawyers organization, and they have this gala every year, and they select a nonprofit every year that they're going to give the proceeds of that gala to. Oh. And so they selected us eventually after rejecting us many times. And that gave me like $300,000. That's how I was able to start the scholarship program. So that's how I was able to fund it initially. Okay. But you're giving out $1,000 a month. You have to give enough money to where it's actually workable, right?
That's right.
So we got into 8 different schools, but then we had a wait list of 14 other schools that wanted to do it. And we're like, okay, we're going to run out of money so fast.
That's right. Yeah.
So by necessity, I was like, I have to do a gala. Now, I was super apprehensive about doing that, had never done it before. Okay. I have a board, but my board are all people with full-time jobs. I have one employee for the nonprofit who works, are you ready, for 4 hours a week. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. That's kind of, I'm like, any of you girls have time to fill in for the orphanage, you got to do it. That's kind of how we run it too.
Everything else is like volunteer. Yeah. Okay. And again, what I was really shocked to find was when I was just talking to people about it. And there were so many women who were like, well, if you decide you want to do it, like, I'll be on your committee. I'll help you.
I've had that a million times too.
Okay. So I know how that is. You're like, I don't want to ask people, blah, blah. Okay. Ask them.
Okay.
Put together a committee. Okay. Let me just tell you, and I mean this because we were flying blind. Like, we felt like we were like literally like writing this off the seat of our pants, right? Like, we had no idea what in the hell we were doing.
Making up as you go.
We had one one person who had been involved in galas before. One. Other than that, none of us really knew anything about what we were doing. But we started a year in advance.
Okay.
We figured out where to go, which we did based on talking to other people that had already done it before. Okay. Like the gala I told you, I went and found their executive director and was like, tell me everything I need to know. Right. Which we can do for you because we've now done it.
Okay.
And we were super cost conscious because we were like,
every nickel you're spending there, you don't get there.
Exactly. Ooh. And I never do that. I never spend any money that isn't like
me too.
Everything goes 100% to
that's how I am too.
100%.
Yes.
Right.
Me too. Yes.
So we were on a really, really, really crazy budget, but we got a large group of people that were going to help us. And all those people were like, well, I have somebody that does flowers and I have somebody that makes signs and I have somebody that, and so we were like, okay, reach out to your person. Again, you're freaking out because you're like, I have no idea. These flowers could come in and be like all droopy. Like you have no idea what it's going to look like, but you're like praying to God that it's going to turn
like,
out.
Well, somebody said they do it.
And the other thing is because you're a nonprofit, they will give you, I had like a 360 camera that should have cost like $1,200 to rent. They gave it to me for $270. I had a photographer that should have been X number of dollars, $300 to have a photographer for the night. Because you're a nonprofit, you tell them your story, but what you have to do is you need like cause and effect. So you need to spend the time and the resources in getting video, because here's what happened for us. I still, had no idea I was literally like, I can't even tell you how nervous I was about this whole thing, because for me too, it's like, this is my reputation. All these people that are coming to this event are like, they were coming to this event because they trusted me.
That's right. Yes.
And so I felt like this is my rise or fall. This is your do or die. It's either going to happen or it's not. Right. I set very realistic goals. Like maybe I can get 300 people in the room. Maybe I can raise, and I set the goal of, I should be able to raise $300,000 because that's what the prior one did. Right. Okay. We brought 400 people, which I guarantee you, had I known what I know now, I could have gotten more people. We were able to put on the whole event for $100,000, as turned out to be our full total budget. Okay. Which sounds like a lot, I realize, but we were able to raise almost $700,000, and we had no idea what we were doing, and we were still able to raise $700,000. And let me tell you what it was. People came. We made it a themed event, so we did Hollywood glam. It worked out great. People came, and that's how you knew from the moment it started. And your base of people will be super into this. And that's what you want. You want them thinking ahead. We told them 6 months in advance, like, this is what we're going to do. People were like excited. Like they were like, oh, I get to like buy a dress and I get to get all dressed up. We had a best dressed contest so that that's why we had the camera so that they could do the videos so that they could be like, but all like super inexpensive, right? 80% of the people who showed up came dressed. The one guy who said he'd done these events before was like, that never happened, right? But they came open-hearted. They came willing. And the vibe from the minute you hit the door at that event, you were like, there's something different about here. This entire vibe of this event was love. Like these people were like there. We had live auction items. I literally was like freaked out. I had too many live auction items. Oh. I had people who donated, like one of my friends has a house in Punta Mita. They put it up for live auction. I have a house in Portugal. I put my house up for live auction. It sold 3 times. Wow. We made $49,000 just off of my house in Portugal. Wow. You do an event, I will give you my house in Portugal for a week as a live auction item so that you can, and because we got $17,500 just for one time in Portugal. We had another person who had a house that isn't even built yet. It literally doesn't even have photos. It's not even built yet in Jackson Hole. It sold for $16,000 for like 4 nights at their house. Oh, wow. You have all these people with all these resources of all these like second homes, places, whatever. Definitely. You gotta tap into that, right? Okay. Like you have to, it's hard, but we had 8 live auction items, which quite frankly might've been normally too many. You probably only need like maybe 5 or 6. Okay. We had a suite at the crypto center that sold for $14,000. One of my clients had a house in Cancun that was a timeshare. That one sold for like $6,000. Anyway, the point is you get live auction items. We made $130,000 on live auction items, but we also, and think about this, because of my scholarships being set up the way they were, $1,000 a month, 12 months, $12,000 pays for a year right?
Right.
So we also offered an opportunity for
Sponsor a
if
kid.
you will donate. So we said, if you will donate for 3 years, that's how long it would take you to get a student through community college at 9 units a semester. If you'll do $36,000, $12,000 a year, we'll name the scholarship after you. And you will have the ability to interview the students and help select the student so that it'll essentially be your student if you want.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
that we also were able to get people. So we raised $190,000, I want to say,
From
in
that?
people just giving us $12,000 here, $12,000 here, $36,000 here. I'm not kidding. I was like crying at this event because,
I bet.
and then $6,000 because it was a semester, and then $3,000 or whatever, right? Like, exactly. So I'm just telling you, you have to believe that you can do it, and then you just make it happen.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I'll help you do it. I'm telling you, it works. People want to do it. But you put your resources in getting those students that came. Now, I had the benefit of these success stories of these students, right? Who could come and they were so great, and they had grown men crying in this room.
Yeah.
Literally grown men. Tears are streaming down their face as they're listening to Fernando, who'd been working since he's 8 years old, came from Mexico, didn't even speak English when he came here 6 years ago. And now he's going to UCLA. Like, unbelievable, right? Yeah. So that's what you got to be thinking about now. Okay, how can I take what I'm doing, what we're doing, and how can I make this into a relatable experience so that if I'm in a gala, I have either this video or I have, whatever it is, that you can make these people have that emotional connection to what you're doing. Because I had another guy who's one of my experts actually on one of my cases. He flew down from, I had people literally flying from other states coming to this gala. But this guy came down from Northern California, and he owns his own nonprofit, and he just started his own nonprofit like a year ago. And he showed them like a video of our event. And he said, she made all this money, and all she did was just have people talk about real life.
That's it.
That's it. That's all we did was we did everything on a budget. I mean, our centerpieces got donated. Everything was on a budget, right? Yeah. So I just want you to believe that you are capable of doing that, because I know you are, because you obviously are a mover and a shaker. You have great connections. You have great foundational connections, which is all the things that you need. Yeah. You just have to be willing to put yourself in a position where you're going to ask people for help. Right. And that's the hardest thing to do. And then you have to just believe. But you do need, I would say, you need one person who's going to be like your wedding coordinator, whose job it is to coordinate everything, make sure. Now, that person who did it for me had never done it before. She's amazing and dynamic, but she had never done it before. And so it doesn't have to be somebody
if their heart's there, they can get it done.
Correct.
I believe that. Yeah, they will. Okay.
So
thank you.
They know how to get a hold of me. If you decide you want to do it, I'll help you. Just saying.
I need to do it because those kids don't have enough.
Can you imagine? What if you could raise
all the time?
Like, what if you could raise? Because once they're out of, if I can raise $700,000, you can raise $700,000. Trust me.
Once those kids are, and that would go so far in Mexico. Once those kids are out of the orphanage, I don't even. What happens to them?
Right.
I think they become drug dealers, and that's it. They don't have any, and they get them out of school, whether they can read or write. I have a boy right now that we're tutoring that is 17 years old and can't read or write. What is his future going to be? I go, he can't leave this orphanage till he can read or write. He can't. Like,
isn't it so crazy?
He has to read and write. Like,
it's so crazy to me.
Yeah. Just
we live in a world where there's such a disparity. I know. It's really crazy.
It is crazy. And
we also can't save the world. So you have to be like,
but I've got those ones that have been in that orphanage with me for 20 years. I've watched them this big. Like I need to know that I can do something beyond just feeding them as a little kid, like giving them some sort of tool to help themselves afterward.
Well, I mean, to me, again, I just feel like that tool is education.
It is.
And if there's some way, I mean, for us, like community college is like, sometimes that's as far as they're going to go. But even if they go to community college and they learn like a skill,
anything. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And And I'm really shocked at the ratio of the student, because really when I started it, I didn't really think I was going to get them into 4 years. I thought I was going to get them through community college, and that they were going to get enough from community college to be able, like,
To
there's
survive.
paralegal programs and
Yeah.
there's computer, science programs. And so I thought that. I'm shocked at how many of these students literally have like the drive and the will to go to 4 years.
That's
and
right.
they're like,
it can be different if
Right.
you want it to be.
all 3 of the students who spoke at mine all want to, and the third one, she's getting accepted to both Berkeley and UCLA.
Unbelievable.
And literally she was homeless when I met her too. I mean,
Yeah.
there are brilliant people out there. And I mean,
You
they
can touch
just
them.
need an opportunity,
I agree. I'm with you. I agree.
and they need to have somebody that believes in them.
yeah. All right. Well, great. Thank you so much for joining. And it's exciting what you're doing. And I hope the movement just gets bigger and more people get involved.
I hope so too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. And we will see you next time. Don't forget to submit questions. Thanks. Bye.